Hello guys, welcome to another 101 Basics. Today I'm going to be talking about pliers and the different kinds. I will not be talking about every kind of pair of pliers because there's a bunch of them. So I'm just going to cover some of the basic ones that I use and that I actually have handy here, along with even a special pair of pliers that I have in the upper right corner. But if you want to go ahead and introduce these things, this set of pliers over here to the left these are the slip joint pliers. The reason they're called slip joint is because you can slip to make them larger, slip them over and they have a smaller grip on them. These are pretty much everyday, run-of-the-mill basic pliers, and lots of times I try to encourage people not to use these on bolt heads because they tend to strip them and to the point to where you can't even put a wrench on them. But in an emergency, of course, you can use these to loosen things. But this should not be your go-to tool to loosen nuts, especially on a car, something that's really tight. If you just need something that's fairly loose and just need to get a good grip on it, then I guess that's fine. I personally try not to do that just because I know I'm going to damage the head of the nut. So these are good. They have them in different sizes, of course. They've got smaller ones and really large ones here. Um, and those are just for basic use. You can do lots of things with them. You can cut wire with them as well. You've got this little part right here at the bottom of it. You can put a piece of wire there and you can actually cut this wire with that. I'm going to save this particular wire because I want to show you something later with another pair of pliers. So these basic slip joint pliers are probably one of the most common and most well used pliers. And next we have these slip joint, or some people call them water pump pliers. Got a nickname of that. These here are very old. My father actually owned these, and these can actually hurt you because they're a little bit loose, and you need to tighten this nut from time to time. But as far as using these, don't wrap your hand all the way around it like that, because if you slip off, that thing's going to come down and you're going to wish you hadn't done that. It's going to bruise your fingers and get you to jumping up and down and saying things you shouldn't. But these here are great for, you can adjust it to large size, you can adjust it to small size, working with pipes or clamps. Or I have a set here that I use to pull off oil filters. It gets large enough to where I can actually pull off some of the smaller oil filters. There's also larger sizes of these. If you don't have an oil filter wrench, sometimes you can get them off with this. You don't want to put them back on with this. You always want to put an oil filter on hand tight. But these things are wonderful for adjusting, especially working with plumbing. I don't know how many times I've used these particular pliers here just to get something loose, whether it was a plastic fitting or a metal fitting. These things work great for doing that. And so this definitely something you need to have in your toolbox as well. Another pair of pliers that are really cool is the needle nose. These can get into hard to reach places, whether it's in a cavity or you need some more intricate work where you're a little bit more gentle with something. These come in very handy, and they also have at the bottom here an area where you can cut wire as well. And so these are tremendously handy in lots of situations. These are basic side cutters, and one side of them is sharp, and these will also cut wire and other things, plastic, zip ties, all kinds of things that you need to cut off. These do a really good job. I have a couple different sizes of these, and they're very nice to have around. Up here at the top, I have the vice grip style, I guess I should say. It's more of a locking pliers. This one's made by Craftsman, and it's not a vice grip. And these work really good. They have a screw at the bottom, so you can loosen. If you notice the jaw up here, as I loosen this nut, gets wider and wider, and that's how you can adjust it let's say we wanted to lock it down on this bolt here. Well, then all you have to do is zoom out a little bit. Is I'm going to loosen this screw down here until it's good enough to close. That's a little bit soft. Sometimes you want it to grip pretty well. You feel it has a little bit of a hold on it. That's pretty good grip for pulling off a nut. Still, once again, I wouldn't suggest using these for taking off a nut, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes these things are stuck and your wrench slips and to where the head of the nut is almost round like that. So you could even grab this round head here and turn it with these vice grips. It works really well for stuff like that. They also have these in a more rounded form like these, or a needle nose plier style. With these have just about had it. They got a little bit bent on me, but I still use them. They still work. And then I'm going to show you another pair of pliers here. These are like wire stripping pliers, and I'm just going to use, there's an insulation on this particular wire that I have right here. So you just of course pick the size of wire that you're using. This is but similar to like a 12 gauge, so I'm gonna put it on the 12 gauge slot, and then you just spin it around as such, and you can feel it loosen up, and then you just slide it off, and then you have, of course, your stripped wire off the end of it. So these are really nice. And let me see if I can get a close up on those the gauge sizes. You can see the numbers there come up. These particular pliers are fairly old as well, but they work really good. And at the end, at the bottom of them, you also have a place where you can actually cut the wire right here. Then lastly, I have these pliers are specifically made, or what I bought them for is to pull spark plug boots off of a car. Sometimes you can't get your hand in a certain area to pull the boot off, or you have no way of getting underneath it. And these work really good. They reach down, they got a curve to them, so they can reach down in there and grab it and pull it off without, damaging things or yourself, or they just come in very handy when trying to remove spark plug boots. But these could do other things as well, get in hard to reach places and maybe grab a clamp or something like that as well. So these are all very handy tools. I will say that probably the most popular one, if you do not have it in your tool bag, would be to get these, because of the fact that they do slip open and you can cut wire with them, and you're always going to need something just to go to and grab it. And it can twist things, it can cut things, it can grab things, and these are very good to have around. So that's the basics of the pliers that I wanted to show you tonight. If you have any questions or you have any suggestions for other pair of pliers or other uses that you've used these for, yeah, put it down in the comments. I know it will help somebody. And I've worked in many places where tools are used, and I always come across somebody that just never has used pliers or tools or screwdrivers or wrenches. And I just wanted to put out videos there just to basically instruct people what they are for, possibly how to use them a little bit. The best way to really learn how to use a tool is just to put it in your hand and start working with it. Sometimes you learn, okay, that's not the right way, and you go at it again, and you figure out what works best for you. And so this is just some minor instruction on the different tools that I have. And I appreciate you guys watching. If you like this, go ahead and comment or like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.